Hey guys, this is Cam for 15, back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another My Hero Academia anime episode review for you guys, as we are talking about episode 5 of season 6. Doing this review solo because my co-host, the Red Wolf, went for Mexico this weekend, so safe travels for him if he ever checks this video out. But yes, was this episode crazy? This episode is crazy. And really from my perspective, after reading the manga and everything in this arc, this is when, you know, this is when things in the story, this was this is when it starts to get crazy. Like, this is when it starts to get crazy in terms of the story of My Hero Academia. Some of the stuff you're going to be seeing here, it literally, well, hell, from this start, it was literally taken from 0 to 100 real quick. So that was all well and going crazy right then and there. But my goodness, what an episode, what an introduction to Shigiraki's reawakening. And yeah, so let's get to this week's episode. So this episode pretty much starts off where we pretty much left off. If anything, has a slight pickup with what's going on, before Shigaraki fully awakened, but we kind of see how it happens and everything. Now, obviously, we have Dr. Garaki, or Dr. Ujiko, pretty much realizing that all hope is pretty much freaking lost and everything, and he's actually realizing, shit, they actually got the jump on us and they beat us. So, damn it, they won. So yeah, now the thing is, we all know at the end of the episode, Xless was left near Shigaraki. And I'll get to that. In terms of what the other heroes are doing, they're taking on the other high-end Nomus. And we even cut back to what on the comm system, I guess the Hero Safety Commission comms, and they're pretty much observing and knowing that the heroes are fighting underground against the high-end Nomus, and pretty much they're making a mention of the fact that one high-end Nomu, it barely took the number 1 and number 2 heroes together to take down one of them. So, and there's multiple, high-end Nomus, that we have to go up against and everything. That's a huge problem. So that's potentially foreshadowing the future of the series, where it could be headed on the standpoint like, well, if they got more high-end Nomus out there, well then, listen, the high-end Nomus are probably out there and there'll be freaking problems and stuff like that. And that was just one. Just imagine if there was like a lot more, which we have already seen in the first 5 episodes, how much of these high-end Nomus can actually be a problem, how much they can do damage. And like I said, really, Mirako took on like 3 of them, 4 of them all by herself, and only managed to take down 1. Now, mind you, these high-end Nomus they're in the state of them just abruptly reawakening, so they're realizing the potential they have, unlike Hood, who he was pretty much already fully developed and he already knew, what he was doing. These high-end Nomu, it took them some time before they realized the capabilities of their abilities. But we see it to where it's like they take some of them down, they just instantly regenerate because they regeneration quirk and everything. But the heroes managed to take them all down because we have Ryuku and a few other heroes end up showing up to give the edge, where they take down the Nomus. We even see Gran Torino showing up and everything. So we cut back over to Shigaraki and Xless. We have it to where Xless sees a generator that is still on, but and he pretty much destroys it, which maybe that probably wasn't a good idea. I don't know, because it seems like destroying it just created an electricity type of short circuit because of it. And if anybody knows their freaking science, it doesn't take a science expert to know is if you put electricity anywhere near any form of liquid, well, it pretty much conducts. Electricity conducts through liquid. So pretty much in a way where it looked like Shigaraki's going to abruptly die, even though he had that whole moment, in his head and everything. It was that plus the electricity touching the water, which in a way pretty much jump started his heart, I guess you can say, because his heart was stopped. That whole thing jump started his heart. He reawakened. He gets back up. Excellence just turns over. He's just sitting in freaking crisscross applesauce type of way, and pretty much it looks like X Lex is seeing this, and he looks like he's gonna shoot a laser at this guy to probably kill him in the head. But a little too late. Shigaraki grabs a piece of, no, not just grabs his whole freaking face, just decays him right then and there. Freaking takes his cape, and just wears it, and then that's kind of when things go off on the deep end and they go off the rails. So yes, now I'll talk about the Deku scene, and then I'll talk about that. Let's cut over to the Gunga Mountain Villa area with that whole interesting scene. And we got left over 3 minutes earlier, before everything that is happening on in the hospital and on in Jakku, and yeah, in the city of Jakku. Yes, that's the city of Jakku, or Jakku Hospital. I just call it the Jakku Hospital Battlegrounds, I guess. Yes, it's literally called that. Horikoshi is a fan of Star Wars. If you didn't know that, he loves his Marvel comics. He loves his superhero comics. He loves Star Wars. So some of these names are fairly obvious, which it's funny because in the manga, now in the I'm not going into deep spoilers, but there was a line in the manga, based on the last chapter. They called this movement, I'll just say, Order 66, which that's what the unofficial translations got down. When the official translations came out, they didn't call it directly Order 66, which was at that point when I read it, that was absolutely funny. But like I said, I didn't give no spoilers away for that part. That'll be a long time before that happens. We're talking maybe probably next season, or maybe season 8. Like I said, I think My Hero Academia, with the fact that the manga's ending pretty much sometime by the end of the year, if not early next year, we'll probably at least get a guaranteed maybe 2 more seasons. If not, season 7 could potentially be the final season of My Hero Academia. It depends how much content they adapt in this season of My Hero Academia, but based on how much content they adapt, it could be a while, and then based on how long the manga goes on in its final arc, it could determine how long we get that eventual season. Something, honestly, the way it's looking like, if it goes into next year, I should say season 7 should probably start maybe late 2023, if not early 2024. We'll see. But hey, let's get back to the episode. Anyways, we know that Hawks is going up against Dobby, and he's in a pretty bad situation. His wings are burned. He's getting stepped on by Dobby, and Dobby looks like he's about to kill him. Now, 3 minutes prior to that, we already knew that Tokoyami saw what was going on, just saw the flames, and he was wondering if Hawks was okay, because Batgum pretty much gave away the fact that, like, oh yeah, Hawks is over there. So that's kind of the thing going on. And Tokoyami's like, hold on, I need to see what's holding on and what's going on and everything. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. You guys clearly saw, but there was like some sort of slowdown. But whatever. Yeah, anyways, Tokoyami was seeing this. He was wondering if Hawks was okay. So we cut back and we see freaking Tokoyami wanting to get up out of Fat Gum to go find Hawks and see if he's okay. And he actually ends up doing that, which Fat Gum actually makes the mention of the fact, like, that's the first time anybody has ever escaped my fat, when they were pretty much packed in like a kangaroo baby. Now he sets Honuki, Mushroom Girl, and Kaminari away, and he says, hey, go back to the other students. You stay there, and we'll let you know if there's any updates or anything, but hey, it should be taken care of. So the thing is, so we cut back to the moment where it looks like Dobby is going to pretty much incinerate Hawks to death. But then all of a sudden we have it to where Tokoyami comes in the nick of time to save him. He has Dark Shadow cover up Hawks, and pretty much Dark Shadow is like Fumakage. Hawks is in bad shape, man. His back is all left up, and his wings, they're gone, man. And pretty much this is when Dobby is just monologuing. He's like, oh, you're a UA student. And then he's like looking at Hawks, he's like, are you guys stupid? You guys really brought students to this fight too? Wow, I can't believe it. And everything. Tokoyami, is like, don't pretty much telling to Dobby, like, don't disrespect Hawks like that and everything. And pretty much, Dobby's like, kid, you see what your so-called master did, or your so-called the pros did? He killed my friend here. Don't you think, you look up to these pros so hardly, so much. Look at them. Killed the villain right then and there. I thought you guys were supposed to bring us in and just take us to jail. No, you killed us and everything. And pretty much that's when he starts using his flames and starts attacking Tokoyami. And obviously, we know that Dark Shadow can't do anything because we already saw the weakness with the fact that Dark Shadow does not like light, and we know that fire is a type of light because if you remember from season 3, when Tokoyami went berserk, Todoroki used his flames to calm down Tokoyami and Dark Shadow. So obviously, firepower isn't going to work. But the thing is, Hawks barely talks to Tokoyami and telling him he's still talking. And pretty much what he means by that is Dobby pretty much he's pretty much doing the typical villain thing, is monologuing. And I think that, and if I get it right, I think it's in connection to his powers because he's legitimately burning his skin, and it pretty much is painful for him to continuously use his fire. So in order to have his body pretty much cool down a bit, so he's not overexerting himself, he's talking before he goes in for his next attack. And Tokoyami picks it up. He pretty much goes to the lower floor because of it and throws him off Dobby's game. So he gets down to the lower levels, but eventually Dobby catches up to him. But all of a sudden, with everything that's freaking been going on, we see a huge, gigantic, just like ice structure just come out of craziness. Now it's not Todoroki; it's the villain side of Genten, which is he forces in the back. Like we even see like Mount Lady gets there and just pretty much gets into where the main mansion area is at, and she gets forced back, which was absolutely hilarious because when she's falling back, freaking they cover the Fagum, and Fagum's like, behind? I'm like, now let's be real. If this was real life, Fagum probably be saying an ass. And I'm like, now if you're a thirsty MFer, you probably wouldn't care if a big Mount Lady sat on your face or sat on your entire body. I think if you're crazy for Mount Lady, you probably would have taken getting freaking sat on by Mount Lady if it would have killed you and broke every bone in your body. Yes, Mount Lady is a very beautiful and attractive woman in the My Hero Academia universe. If I could rank out I guess hottest My Hero Academia chicks, she's on the list. Probably more than likely a top 10. So there's put it out there if you're a thirsty guy for Mount Lady. So go right ahead. But the thing is, Genten shows up and he's like, "We will force you back. You're not coming back from this. You're not coming back." And we see Genten without his mask on. He has white hair. He looks similar to the first use. Whatever. Anyways, Dobby's like, "Oh great, this freaking guy showed up," and pretty much we have Tokoyami flying off. He managed to escape and everything, and pretty much he's just remembering what Dobby said, and he's like, pretty much, even though he's crying about this moment, he's like, "I knew Hawks made that choice for the right reason. I know he did it for the right reason." So ultimately, it looks like Tokoyami is not going to condemn Hawks for killing twice or killing a villain, because Tokoyami may understand, like, Hawks was put in a position where he had to do it and there was no other option. So there's that. So the back half and the end of the episode pretty much deals with what's going on with the Jakku Hospital battleground area. So we actually covered the Deku and company. They're again evacuating citizens or civilians away so they can stay out of the way of state, so they can get out of the radius of any potential fights that break out between the heroes and the villains and everything. And all of a sudden, Deku's just walking, and then all of a sudden, he just, something in his head, he hears his voice, and the voice is like, "He's coming. He's coming. He's coming." And it's pretty much describing Shigaraki. It's describing Shigaraki like an individual that has gained immense power, pretty much. It's not exactly what it's said in the episode, but that's what he was saying. He was alerting Deku, and Deku eventually puts two and two together, saying like, wait, this is the voice of the first user of One for All. He hasn't talked to me since I had my moment back in I had my moment where I understood the whole history of everything between one for all and all for one. Mind you, it's been a while. You guys don't realize this, or it doesn't feel like this because this whole event happened back in the previous season, and everything. Remember, there was a whole time skip back in season 5. It took place during the winter time. It took place during like December, January, February area. Right now, they're in the spring. This is the spring. If I remember correctly from the manga, this is the month of April, I believe. I believe. No. It's either March. No, I think it's March. March, that is the start. That's the first month of spring, really, you can be honest. What is it? I think I'm talking about something a little bit later when they identify the months, but it's the springtime. So there's been a time skip. So that's why Deku, again, you're a little confused, like, wait, but you talked to him last season. No. There was like a few month, I think a 3-month time skip. And which I believe, was December, then January, then February, and then this arc is taking place in the month of March. So that's why Deku's like, he hasn't talked to me in like freaking forever. So from his perspective, he hasn't talked to him forever, but he's letting, the first user One for All is alerting Deku like, yeah, Shigaraki's coming, man. He's got this immense power, which is my brother's power, and this is gonna be a freaking problem. And Deku's just seeing this, and all the other Class 1A students, which are really Deku, or really Bakugo, Todoroki, and Ochako, they're like, Deku, you good? You don't look too good, man. And Deku's giving these looks and everything, and he just looked over to the mountain, and you just can tell, like, just from the aura was given off, you can tell, like, Deku can feel it, like, this is a freaking problem. This is a problem. And mind you, when I read this part in the manga, man, it was so freaking hype because the standpoint, I'm looking at Deku, he's putting two and two together. He's realizing, like, fuck, something big is happening. It's not good. Then all of a sudden, we cut back to the bottom in the basement area of the Jakku Hospital, and all of a sudden we see these lines. We see these lines, and next thing you know, just destruction is happening, decay is happening. Gran Torino's like realizes that, and he knows that it's Shigaraki's decay quirk activated, and it's spreading to areas where he's not even freaking touching. Because remember, that's what his big upgrade from last season was, the fact that he can pretty much now touch his hands on a platform, and the destruction just spreads. It spreads. He doesn't have to just touch said thing. It can now, his decay is pretty much awakened. His decay quirk has awakened to the point where now he can just he can just destroy anything within the vicinity. So the heroes pick that up. Gran Torino tells all the heroes, hey, get out of here. We need to go. And everything. So they start leaving and everything. Aizawa ends up freaking trying to grab onto Ryuko in her dragon form flying. But we see one of the high-end Nomus are grabbing his leg, and at the same time it's also decaying. The high-end Nomu is decaying, and we know with this new Shigaraki decay upgrade, anything that touches the decay or anything that's being decayed, if you're touching somebody and you're being decayed, that said person you're touching will also be decayed. So, it looks like I was always about to get decayed, and everything, because the high Gnome was holding him. But all of a sudden, we see one of Crust's shield comes in, destroys the arm of the Nomu. But then when Aizawa looks back, he sees Crust already being decayed, disintegrating into nothing, and Crust has died. Man, you also forgot Xless died, which my co-host, I wish he was kind of on the channel right now, but he was he was a great prognosticator. I already knew Xless was dead. But he was a great prognosticator, and he called that Xless would be killed the moment Shigaraki reawakens. That's what happened. Yes, but shockingly enough, Crust didn't do much in this season, and well, really didn't do much in this series, but he died. But it was emotional because you see the look on Aizawa's face, you know, and everything. The emotion come off of Aizawa's face, like, no. So we have two heroes dead and everything. So they managed to get out. The heroes who were in the basement managed to get out of what's going on. Now, in the meantime, we have it to where Burn is trying to talk to Endeavor on the comms and trying to get in contact with anybody. She's like, hey, Endeavor, hey, anybody on the comms? Crush, anybody on the comms? Can somebody tell me what's going on here? Because Deku looks and he's like, guys, the hospital. And he sees these birds flying up and everything. And they're like, wait, what the frick is going on here? And all of a sudden, that's when they see this destruction wave, this decay wave just come out of nowhere. Deku sees this, so he tries to do something about this. He goes to one for all, full counting, 45%, and he does St. Louis Smash, Air Force, and the Air Force and the decay wave, they're colliding with each other. But the decay wave takes out the Air Force wave, and it shocks Deku. And that's when Deku puts puts two and two together and realizes this is Shigaraki's quirk. Oh, fudge. Now, Todoroki managed to shoot off a ice barrier or ice, wave to try to stop the decay wave. But even the ice is decaying away. And he's like, what the hell? Nothing can stop this. We have it to where the Wild Pussycats, they end up showing up. It's not Pixie Bob. I forgot the blue cat's name, but she ends up, her quirk is like earth powers and everything. She fires up like, dirt into the ground to try to stop the decay wave. And it was funny because in the manga, they abruptly, the way they handled in the manga when it came to the Wild Pussycat scene, she does that attack, but they abruptly cut away from it. And I think it was a while till we found out if she was okay. Like, there was people in the community back when the manga was going on in this part. They thought she was dead. They thought she got caught up in the decay wave because they cut away from it and we never got back to it. The anime just absolutely nullifies that if she's dead, because we have the big hulking dude of the Wild Pussycats group just grabs her and just takes her with her, which it's nice to know that, because in the manga that was like they just cut away from that, and people were speculating, is she dead? Like we literally thought like she was in the hero group parts that were dead, and when it was realized she was still alive, it's like, oh well, okay, they nullified that and everything. But anyways, because this K wave is coming very fast, pretty much Deku's group is telling everybody, hey, if you're there, grab a civilian and just freaking book it. Just run. So you have it to where you have Bakugo freaking using his quirk. He's grabbing the old lady that tried to give him this chocolate bun. So he grabs the old lady, and then he's even having this kid. He's grabbing this kid with his teeth from his shirt, and he's just going. Todoroki's taking a few people, everything. We have Nejire see what's going on, so she uses her quirk to wrap some buses around to fly them off and everything. Froppy is taking some characters, Ochako's, holding some people at the same time. She's using her quirk, her float quirk, and everything on the buses to lessen up the weight. And then Deku's coming in with his Black Whip quirk, just dragging the people, and they're just booking it. They're just going and everything. We cut back to Shigaraki after it looks like where he is at, the destruction wave area is there. And it's just, I'm telling you, it's massive destruction going on. Like, massive destruction. They do like an overhead shot. Massive destruction going on. And we just have it to where Shigaraki, he just opens up where the quirk erasing bullets are at. And then he's like, and we see one of them is broken. One of them is broken. And we don't know about the other quirk erasing bullets if they're still A-okay. But some of them, it seems like from the way Shigaraki was talking, some of them ended up getting destroyed because of the his dangerous attack and everything. In the meantime, he's also getting these head pains because it's the all for one quirk kicking in letting him realize his powers and everything. So he pretty much sees a phone. He calls Gigantomachia to come and bring his friends, which are really the thing. And that's kind of where the episode ends off. And yeah, next week, things again are gonna get crazy to worse. We're gonna see Endeavor versus Shigaraki. That fight is absolutely gonna be crazy. Can't wait to see that animated, you know. And yeah, but it's getting to the point where Deku's gonna get involved because the first user told him, you have to go stop him, you have to go stop him before he realizes his true potential, pretty much. So yeah, this episode was really freaking good, and this is the moment that I'm telling you, if you're looking back, this is the moment where things in the series get crazy. Things in this arc get absolutely batshit crazy. Like, this is the moment. This was the episode that things go off the rails, and you're gonna see a lot of twists and turns and a lot of crazy moments happening from this point on. And this is truly, you know, yeah, we got the first 5 episodes. The first 5 episodes, I would say, are like the prologue. This is ultimately the start of the war arc right here. This is the start. This is ultimately the start, the ultimate battle right then and there. But really solid episode. It sucks my co-host kind of be on the channel so I could get his thoughts and see his reactions or get his reactions to certain things. But solid episode. Can't wait for next Saturday. And yeah, hey, look, I'm happy, you know, I'm good and everything. I was happy yesterday because the varsity football team I went to, because I'm a coach on the Frosh Soft team. I went to the varsity game, won league, so that's good. Only other bad part of my day yesterday was the fact that I got rear-ended, which made me get in a car accident, but I ended up getting rear-ended, which absolutely pissed me off because the car I had, freaking, I just got a few months ago. I think I got it at the start of the year, and now it's already, you know, freaking damaged, and it's like, just great. But solid episode of My Hero Academia. But again, you know, big week for certain animes. So Spy X Family will probably be later today. One Piece, I know I missed last week's episode for One Piece, but I'll get One Piece maybe tonight or maybe tomorrow. You know, and speaking of One Piece, Friday, November 4th, I will be doing my One Piece Film Red movie review, non-spoiler and spoiler of that movie. So yeah, and then last thing this past week was Urusei Yatsura. That will go up probably Monday. Yeah, but other than that, that's what you guys can expect for the channel going forward and everything. But till then, guys, you guys stay safe. Hit that like button if you like this video. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode of My Hero Academia. Yes, of My Hero Academia, as well as hit the subscribe button if you want to get more My Hero Academia content, whether it's the anime or the manga and things like that. But other than that, guys, hopefully you guys are staying safe out there, and hopefully you guys don't get into any car accidents like I did, and hopefully you're not getting rear-ended. But yeah, anyways, guys, catch you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, peace.